All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where in the world you may be today. Welcome to today's webinar here, where we're really excited to review some of the offerings and submissions that came from the Zowe Virtual Hackathon. We're going to give it a couple minutes to get everything prepped up. If you are the person on the team that will be presenting, if you could ping us in the chat, we can give you the right privileges to broadcast and share your screen. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes here, and we'll be right back. Thanks. All right, I think we have the teams identified, and May is getting them all set up as panelists, which is really exciting. So just so we have enough time, we have 3 teams going to be presenting today. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, welcome everyone to this webinar here, which is going to cover a few of the teams that submitted a entry into the Zowe Virtual Hackathon. And we announced this back a few months ago with the idea of helping the Zowe ecosystem get some new additions, enhancements, see examples of innovation of building projects on top of Zowe, or even helping build out a future Zowe conformant offering from this. Definitely there was a lot of interest around the entire mainframe community. And so we're really excited today to see what has come of this. Some of the offerings, we have a series of esteemed panelists from across the Zowe community here that will be helping evaluate the solutions. So with no further ado, I want to turn over to Jean-Louis.
Okay, thank you, John. So welcome everyone, and congratulations for participating to this first Zowe Hackathon. We have had experience of running hackathon for Zowe in our various organizations, either IBM, Rocket, or Broadcom. And from a Broadcom perspective, we saw tremendous success in doing so. And we thought that, and that's the reason why we decided to bring it to the community, so we could have at the community level the opportunity to run a hackathon. And running a hackathon and then doing a project, a Zowe project in the context of hackathon may mean you are working on extension of Zowe. And for instance, one of the outcome of a previous hackathon is the mobile application interface to Zowe. So that's an extension of Zowe, and that's became an incubator project within Zowe. It can be, leveraging, if you're an ISV, leveraging Zowe with your products, providing API, command line interface, or web interface, and supporting a new kind of use case your product couldn't be doing before. And now, thanks to your Zowe, you have this opportunity to address this new use case. It can be working on creating complete new service, leveraging Zowe technology. That we could be the basis for a future commercial offering. So it can be many things around Zowe, and the purpose of these hackathons is to show your creativity on things you think you could be achieving thanks to Zowe. So having said that, I think I would now leave it to the floor to the teams. May, do you want to drive?
Sure, let's see. We will ask Federica. Would you like to go first, your team? I will unmute you.
Yes, it's okay for me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay,
perfect. So I will share I need to share a presentation since we made a blog, we submitted a blog, but we want to talk over a presentation so that you can follow our speech for this integration within Zowe, but I'm disabled. Can you enable me for sharing screen, please?
Yes, 1 minute.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Now I can share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome from the Automazing team, literally meaning amazing automation experience. It's Federica and I'm a tech sales for IBM Z Workload Scheduler. Here in the same team with me, Davide Canalis and Eva Berrio, who are software engineer developer for IBM Z Workload Scheduler. So to talk about something real in our days, in time of crisis, problems float to the surface. So government, healthcare, and insurance industries are encountering a problem that is the legacy system skill gap. In particular, this is true for mainframe platform. So the solution to mainframe skill gap has 3 primary components in our mind: new talent, mainframe skills, and better tools. All of these components are behind the integration project in Zowe for IBM Z Workload Scheduler. From now, I will call it IZWS. IZWS is an automation scheduling solution that allows to control and manage all the automation process in an hybrid environment using a single point of control that is a very modern web interface. It optimizes workload execution, leveraging on predictive analysis, on intuitive what-if simulation. It includes a wide set of out-of-the-box integrations such as SAP, PeopleSoft, or DataStage, and many more, to fully automate and integrate business processes across different platforms, across different systems. So, keeping in mind the primary component of skill gap problem, IZWS exposes its own integration in Zowe, first to facilitate the access of workload automation resources, also to young new talent with few skills around the mainframe traditional tools, And second, to enable DevOps scenarios allowing the integration with most common mainframe application, modern source code management tools, and offering the most important things, the possibility to easily create and automate integration tests in an hybrid environment. Now, Davide will deep dive about AWS integration in Zowe. Davide, can you enable your speech, your microphone?
Yes, thank you, Federica. So, as Federica was saying just a few moments ago, modernizing mainframe is a mission that IBM Workload Scheduler sharing with other stakeholders in Zowe community. About 3 years ago, we released a complete set of REST APIs providing commands to interact, monitor, and modify AWS resources. Those REST APIs are now exposed within the API mediation layer, allowing to leverage the complete set of AWS functionalities in Zowe and providing obviously a single point of access to all integrated mainframe services through the gateway. And Swagger documentation for REST APIs is available in the API catalog as well. Moreover, AWS provides a plugin for the Zowe CLI, and this is a way to provide a relevant subset of REST APIs commands in a very easy CLI format. This CLI integration is appreciated by our customers since it is a simpler way to interact with AWS than using REST APIs. The set of commands provided with the CLI is the result of a collaboration with our customers. As part of design thinking and transparent development programs, we collaborated with them to identify the first set of commands to be included in the CLI plugin. And we worked also on the best command syntax to facilitate their usage. So the AWS CLI plugin provides commands to list and retrieve objects like jobs on mainframe, submit mainframe processes, and update resources that has interdependencies with those processes. All responses can be provided in a human-readable format, obviously, intended for a use from the CLI directly, or a JSON format that is easily scriptable. Last but not least, we exposed a set of very powerful commands in the exec command, and this gives to AWS users an unlimited access to AWS resources and to the action to run against the same. This set of commands leverages on a particular AWS feature called WAPL, through which users can perform complex actions that are not available with other commands exposed in the CLI or from REST APIs interface as well. I just would like to add that both the CLI plugin and the API mediation layer integration gain the Zowe conformant badges. And now Eva will introduce a use cases of our integration in Zowe. Eva? Eva, are you able to unmute? Okay, I think that Eva is having problem with their connection, so I will try to cover his part in the meantime. IBM Z Workload Scheduler plugin is aimed at two key figures in the mainframe landscape. First of all, application developer who can execute and create several integration tests and to validate their application in a DevOps scenario by integrating WA commands with modern tools, and operators who are responsible for the deployment, release, and monitoring of applications. An operator provides full support for scheduling and maintaining an application and manage tickets for problem resolution. So let's see a typical scenario for an operator for the automatic management and resolution of a ticket. Critical situations require daily effort for operators in problem resolution and ticket management, such as run a recovery procedure, rerun of application with new input file provided within the ticket, submission of application in old status, for which the submission is triggered, for example, by time dependency or another kind of external condition, and obviously ticket closure. Let's see how workload automation command exposed in the Zowe CLI allow to automate the life cycle of a ticket. So in this first example, we see how the operator can automate the process for all the incoming tickets for submission by using a script that read the information of the application to submit directly from the ticket form, compose the workload automation commands to submit the job stream with all the conditions required, and to monitor the result of the submission. Once the task is completed, the script manages to move the ticket from in progress to closed status. As you can see, in this case, the application is submitted on old status, waiting for an external trigger that, for instance, could be the promotion in production of a batch procedure that this application runs. Using a similar process as the example before, the operator can close all the tickets that requires the release of an application. In this case, you will use exec WAPL command of a ZWS plugin to execute this command that perform the release of the entire application or of a single job within it. Once the action is completed and the result is verified, the script closes the ticket. The operator can use WA commands to quickly verify some application properties, such as its status, which jobs are included in it, and which is the helper for the execution. Using WA command, the operator can automate the completion of a ticket in few seconds. This is a task that usually requires several minutes. So, as previously told, the ZWS CLI integration in Zowe offers an easy way to integrate and automate processes in the mainframe ecosystem, allowing a fast access to the ZWS resources. So I have finished. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much for your presentation here. So we do have some esteemed members of the Zowe community and the Zowe leadership who are on the line here, Michael, Sean, and Elliot, and we definitely want to open the line for you to ask any questions. For those in the audience, you can also ask questions. The best way to do that is at the bottom of your screen. There should be a little button that says Q&A. And you can ask your questions that way, and May can help relay those to the audience. So I'll open back the floor here to Michael, Sean, Elliot. Any questions you might have?
Yeah, so this is Mike Bauer, Zowe CLI squad lead. I'll kick it off with a question to get us started. This looks very well done, very well thought out. Once you had your APIs created and possibly already integrated with the Zowe API mediation layer, could you expand upon your experience in leveraging the Zowe CLI technology to build this solution?
Yes, I will answer this question. So for my experience, I was together with Eva, the other developer. We were the two developers for the CLI plugin, and we leverage obviously on the imperative framework that was very well explained with a clear documentation. So it was pretty easy also for me that I'm not so used to program in TypeScript, and it was really easy to me to start my project and work with the integration with the Zowe CLI. So the imperative framework was the main tool that we used, and was very, very good.
Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe just a follow-up question. Again, very well thought out. How did the hackathon enable you to maybe, you know, have time to develop this solution? Like, I'm just wondering how the hackathon helped with the opportunity to develop this solution. Could you speak a little bit to that?
Yes. About the hackathon, it was a great occasion for us to share our plugin and our integration with Zowe project and Zowe community, and it's important for us as a product to be involved in this community, to keep pushing on modernizing mainframe solutions. And I think that we can add some values to the Zowe project, and obviously this is in both directions, because Zowe add a great value to our solution on mainframe, and the hackathon is just the best way to show this kind of integration. And it could be, I hope that it could be inspiring for other teams to be involved in the Zowe project.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks again for hacking with the Zowe CLI technology. I'll give an opportunity for my colleagues if they want to answer or ask additional questions, but that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would, Sean, if you don't mind, I would have a question if I can jump in at this moment. So thank you very much. So my name's Elliot Jolly. I'm a squad lead for the API mediation layer, and yeah, great to see that you know, everything you've done is Zowe conformant. So that's a big plus. So maybe just to follow up a little bit on Mike's question earlier, you know what you're showing is very impressive. Was all of this achieved, you know, within the hackathon, or were there certain parts that were done, you know, previously? It's hard for me to understand, you know, what was actually coded as part of the actual hackathon itself.
Yes, Federica speaking. Let me say that the integration in Zowe for AZWS was already a plan since we wanted to be part of the Zowe project, since we know that some of our customers are exploring the Zowe open source platform. They are trying to get familiar with it, so it was a good chance for us to be involved in Zowe. The hackathon, we were at Share this year on February, and the hackathon, we heard about the hackathon there, and it was another, let me say, another pushing to develop this CLI in this way with a lot of comment, because most of this comment can cover all the functionality of AZWS. So this was really a good input for us to develop this kind of CLI, even if it was in the plan to have our integration in Zowe.
I see. So the CLI, the command group that you built for the CLI, was what you have worked towards as part of the hackathon. Would that be a correct interpretation?
Yes, it is part. They were developed as part of the hackathon, but for sure it was in our plan to do this project, even if the hackathon would have not occur. I mean, this was in our plan, but once we were updated about the hackathon event, then we decided to develop all these CLI for the hackathon date.
Okay, great. I have one more question before I hand over to Sean. I was interested in your use case around ticket management. You know, I think it looked really good, and I'm just wondering how many of the tickets that the operator typically sees, how many of those actually fit into that automation paradigm. I am assuming that there'll be a certain percentage, and then there's a certain number that just, you know, need some user interaction and probably aren't suitable for automation, right?
Yes, let me say, have not a really a good answer for this question. I suppose that about 30% of the ticket can be solved for sure using the automation process for AZWS, because there are some standard procedures that you have to run to solve some tickets, while some other one, yes, require manual intervention. But in many cases, ticket contains all the information, can, let me say, can provide a file with some input parameter to solve a problem, and AZWS is able to take an input to this file and process the recovery procedure described in the ticket. Mm-hmm. This is something that we verified, yes, for some ticket, not for all of for the ones that are opened in a company, for sure.
I can share my personal experience with the customers just a few months ago. They were asking for a way to automate some process about ticket closure, because they had an entire team dedicated to handle this kind of tickets. But all the information were present directly in the ticket, so they were looking for a way to automate this process. So our customers have really thousands and thousands of tickets per month to be solved that can be automated, fully automated.
So this is great discussion here. And certainly if there's more questions people might have, you can put them in the Q&A. Just in time, since we have 2 more teams to present, I'd love to shift forward to the next team. And I believe Wu Song with the IBM China team is up next.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, let me share my screen. I think you have to enable me to share my screen. I got one message telling me that host disabled attendee screen sharing.
We just made you a co-host. Can you try now?
Okay, let me try.
Is that working for you, Song? Or are you running into other technical issues?
Yes, I think I have to quit the meeting first, since I have not yet enabled Zoom to access my screen recording. So
okay. Do you want to? Should we maybe move to the next group and we can just come back to you? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So thank you. So I think next we have Jelly, I think you're doing the next presentation.
The puzzles team.
Yeah.
The puzzles team.
Yeah, puzzles team. All right, I will try to share my screen. Yeah, I'm also disabled.
All right, let's see if you have, we gave you one permission. Let's see if yours work.
All right, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So, hello everyone. So my name is Jesselyn Punambayan and I'm here with my teammate actually, Rochelle Lanco. She will not be speaking today. It will just be me. So we will talk about Zowe Out, the interactive learning experience. So just a brief introduction. Rochelle and I are mainframe developers. So we started our career developing mainframe solutions using the 3270 terminal. So for me, I've always been fascinated by the idea of coding using a terminal. So for me, this coding using a terminal is a very old school and uncommon. It always made me feel so special. And I remember this one time that there was an announcement from our system administrator that they have installed a new version of COBOL. And I really thought to myself that, wow, there are people actively enhancing COBOL. So that actually triggered a thought, which is what's more out there for mainframe. So as years passed by, we ended up here in Broadcom, and we are R&D engineers now for the Zowe project. So everybody knows that Zowe is hosted by Open Mainframe Project, and it offers modern interfaces to interact with ZOS. And the goal for this project is to make mainframe open. So from the fascination of the 3270 terminal, I was able to witness different kind of technologies being developed in this project. We know that there's a REST APIs, there are IDEs, CLI, web, desktop, and even the mobile application. So now my fascination evolved into something different. And again, I asked this question, what's more out there for mainframe? Now that I'm moving into a senior position, the thoughts that I have is for the next generation of mainframers. So this next generation of developers, just like me when I was starting out, have new knowledge and new perspective, and they will join soon the mainframe community. So how can this next generation of mainframers help improve this platform and make it better? But moreover, how can I help? How can I help them achieve that goal? So that's where we thought of it. We thought about Zoe Out, the interactive learning experience. So what is it? Zoe Out allows you to learn more about mainframe. So the concept is that it will teach you about the different Zoe components, like what I said, the CLI, the API migration layer, the web desktop, the VS Code extension, and the mobile application. It is in the form of a game where there is a self-paced interactive tutorial course. It's a hands-on experience. It has step-by-step guide with checkpoints. It includes links to tutorial videos and other resources. As you can see in the picture here, it is inspired with the Kubernetes game of pods. And the goal that we have is to make it into a fun game and let you ask this question. What more can I do with mainframe? So the technology behind this is that we are using the Ionic framework and the Angular code base to create the UI and the UX for the web application. We have integrated additional REST APIs such as the YouTube API to access these online videos that is included in the tutorial. And we plan to integrate or incorporate the Docker containers to start the servers for the ZOSMF mock APIs. So basically you have a web app that connects to the Docker container, and it's fired all by APIs, Zowe APIs and the YouTube APIs. I can show a short demo if that's okay. So I hope you can see the homepage that we have. So this is the homepage for the Zowe Out. And in here you have cards, and it shows you the different components that you can learn. So for example, we want to learn the Zowe Explorer. So the concept is that you have different tasks here, and you have instructions. So this is my instruction, and I will click on it. So when I'm done, for example, I will give the profile names, for example, test. And when I click verify, it will fire the mock APIs that we would integrate in this Docker containers. And then if it's okay, it will activate the next card, and so you can continue on with your training. And if you need help, you can click on this video, and it will now call the YouTube service that we have and connect you to YouTube. So for example, this video. So that's the main concept of this product. So moving forward, what will be the next for this project? So this project is now currently discussed with our education team regarding the hosting or regarding the hosting and the implementation of Fresh product. So basically, we will improve the UI and the UX. It doesn't look like the game of pods that I have showed you earlier. So hopefully, we will be able to improve it to make it look like into a very fun game. And of course, the integration of these Docker containers to start the server of the ZSMF mock APIs. So to summarize, what we have created is a game for learners. And it shows you that Mainframe is a powerful platform. And we can really make it even more powerful if we combine it with the technology that we have today. And training such as the Zowe Out can help boost that process. So I am very excited to see what you can come up with when you ask this question to yourself. What more can I do with Mainframe? So that's it for my presentation. And I would like to end it with a short video that we have created for this product. Can you?
Hey, Jelly, we can't hear the
You can't hear it?
sound of the video. Yep.
So maybe I'll just share the. I don't know how to change it though.
You could share my recommendation maybe would be to share the link in the chat and then pause for maybe the appropriate amount of time. And then you could play yours without sound and folks could just click the link. That'd be one recommendation.
Sure, I will just share the link in the chat. Wait, where am I? So maybe I'll just stop sharing and then we could continue with the questions while I share the link.
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool.
Does anyone have any questions for this team? Judges?
Sean, do you want to go first this time?
Sure. So I'm kind of curious about the behind the scenes details of what, I guess 2 points. Number one is I saw in there that you had a Docker container that said fake ZOSMF, and I was kind of curious how far you took that idea. How did you make such a thing, and what are its capabilities?
So that Docker container was inspired from the Zowe Hackathon that we have which actually is now also donated to Zowe. So one of our colleagues, Vita, created this Zowe on Docker. And because of that, he was able to create ZSMF, fake ZSMF APIs. And from that, we were inspired as well with Heroku app. And we know that we can create mock APIs, and using his technology for putting Zowe in Docker, we can combine this technology or this idea to make this, to integrate it into what we have right now.
Right, because I guess my point is that I see a future in doing more of that. We have some interns currently, and not all of them have mainframe access as of today, and so having that sort of thing is a great idea. I think we should do it for every piece of Zowe or ZOS that people can't get quick access to. So the other question that I had was about the front end. So in the video that I saw, you had a bunch of clickable links, and I guess the video didn't really show that much about what was in the links. But can you go over like the feature set that you had done so far, and how much you wanted to do if you had continued the project?
So we are playing with the Ionic framework, and so far what we have created are ion cards. So this ion cards, just like what you have seen. I can share it again. So these ion cards, that is part of the Ionic framework. But basically, what we did is that it's incorporating Angular conditions. So I don't know how to explain it, but anyways, but what we have done is that when I think it's already, there are ng commands that's incorporated there, and what I just have done is that create a condition where if I submit this, verify that it will then disable the next card. But so far we have been playing with the UX and stuff.
Cool. So like what's the scope that you've done so far? Like we've got the Explorer here and we've got 4 items. How much coverage do you think you have of Zowe so far?
So we have Zowe Explorer for now regarding this one. So we focus on just one component, and hopefully we will be able to focus on more in the future.
Yeah, that would be my thought. Is it looks like you might have the beginning of something that could be I don't know, maybe crowdsourced. That I could imagine a documentation team working with the developers to whenever a new feature is added, add a new item to this list. So that could be I could see a good future in that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we for me personally, I wanted scenarios as well to, or wanted to, let's say what you said, crowdsource, or to gather more scenarios, and then we could create like for different personas. Like for application developers, there's a specific one that they are going to do, or maybe for COBOL developers, I don't know. But yeah, what you said is correct.
Cool. Okay, so that's all of my questions.
Yeah, Mike, if you don't mind, I think I might just jump in here. So I think it looks great. I love the sense of fun that you've tried to inject into this, in the sense of, you know, sort of gamifying it and trying to sort of make that learning process sort of more entertaining. I think there's a ton of potential here. I'm interested in, and you touched on it very briefly in your previous answer to Sean. I'm interested in the persona here, and in who you're actually targeting this at. So it's you talk about a learner, you know, in your presentation. So I wonder if you could expand a little bit on that, and just talk a little bit about sort of the level of experience that the person would be required as they jump into this, and sort of where you think they'd get to, you know, once they complete it. And also linked to that is there an idea of progression? You know, so in most games, you often start easy and then it gets harder and harder and harder. And I wonder if you gave that some consideration here for what you've done.
Yes, definitely. So initially the idea that we have is that it will target new developers, or it will target this next generation of mainframers that they wanted to learn mainframe, but they can learn Zowe through when connecting to mainframe. But because of what happened to the COBOL core set, or how it expanded, now for me, that's why I said learners, is that it's not limited to new generations, but it's for everyone, for everybody who wants to learn Zowe. So it's for beginners or for mainframe experts who wanted to try out this modern mainframe interface. And I like the idea because it gave me a very wide range of audience, and a very wide range of personas as well, and scenarios that I can tackle. And I like what your question. So we have thought about it. So one thing that we wanted is like this achievements. So yes, I agree with you in terms of progression, like for you have these levels like level 1, level 2, and when you finish a level, you will go to the next level. Like maybe there's a boss battle, I don't know, but there will be like achievements or badges. So similar to, for example, Duolingo, that if you finish one level, you can have a badge that you have finished this one, and then you can go to the next path. So that is something that we surely have thought about and have been planning for the future.
Yeah. I think in the gaming world, that's critical to sort of drive the virality of a game and also
Yes.
to increase the engagement with users. So definitely something to consider. Yeah, but
Yes,
great job.
definitely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you all for the feedback. Again, if you still have questions, you can chime into the QA. We want to switch over here to our last presenter, Woo-Song. I don't know if you've got your stuff all situated.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, and it looks like you're presenting. So that's, or at least we see you. We don't see your screen yet.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, looks great.
Okay, let me introduce some our ideas. Actually, our idea is to create one native plugin for SMU. Let us have a look at the idea background. SMU means IBM Service Management Unit is one IBM free product with user customizable modern web dashboard. Actually, it will consume data from many different IBM products. For example, system automation, Omega-Man, workload scheduler, and maybe NetView. Actually, SMU has already integrated with the Zowe 1 years ago, but it is integrated as a Zowe iframe plugin. Thus, it cannot leverage lots of Zowe features. For example, native user experience, application to application communication. The third point is that SMU is implemented in a very complex way. First, it is based on Dash, and different components is implemented in different tags, such as some is implemented in J2EE, Dojo, AngularJS. Others may be implemented based on TDI, that is assembly. And it also only supports query REST. It only can consume query REST API. So based on this, we want to implement native Zowe plugin for SMU. Actually, we've already implemented 2 points. The first point is that we have to create one configurable Angular UI widget based on IBM Carbon and Apache eCharts. Since most of users want the functions of user customization page, so we have to create one UI widget library. That first, actually we've already created five widgets. The first is the table with the pagination, pie chart, line chart, bar chart, and also auto refresh timer. Second, we implement SMU native plugin prototype with the following some features. For example, we can customize the whole pages via JSON configuration file, and we also implement some plugin to plugin communication prototype, and also can consume some data from SA and Omega-Man. Actually, we in this prototype we can consume we can take some metadata from different places. For example, REST API, query REST API, maybe Open API, and also JSON file. Also, globalization is support in our idea. So we've already implemented this kind of a prototype. Let's have a look at, I take some screenshot here. This is the file widget that are packaged with us. It can be configured, customized via JSON file. The second one is the native SMU plugin pages that are created with the JSON configuration file. So user can create one JSON file and add some descriptions the descriptions in the file for the pages and along with the widgets. Then after he restarted the plugin, our pages are refreshed with the new configuration. So let's have a look at the result. This is the native SMU plugin. All data are displayed here. Actually, there are 3 JSON files created here. We create one new page. First, we change the template JSON file. And also, we copy one URL here and paste in data source. Then copy some properties to describe what widget be displayed here. Save the file, and then reloading the plugin. You can find one page is created with the new widget. We also can change the widget layout. For example, where the which column and which row the widget will be displayed. You can find that the widget is moved down. This will move on to next page. Here we are display how to what we implement for application to application communication on native page. Let's have a look at that. First, we launch SMU native plugin. Then we click app to launch another one. In this plugin, we are launch another page in first plugin. The page is Omega plugin. You can find one new page Omega is launched in the first plugin. So that's all for our ideas. It's just one prototype for our ideas. Any comment?
Great. Thank you so much. Judges will have a few moments for you to all chime in. I just want to remind to everyone that all of these recordings will be up on YouTube in the next couple days. So you can watch them in there as well. But I want to open the floor to the judges for a few minutes for any comments and anyone else to share via the QA.
Okay.
Okay. Do you mind if I go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is pretty cool. What I'm curious about is what was SMU written in before you started to convert it to Angular?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
So right now you're making a Zowe native Angular app. What was SMU before that? Was it like Dojo or React or something?
Actually, I think we can. Let me go back to my last. Actually, SMU is implemented in different tech stack. It basically based on Dash. Some part is implemented in Dojo, and another part is implemented in AngularJS, and some other part is implemented in assembly line. So there are many.
So basically, you are not only making a native desktop application in Angular, but you're also sort of cleaning up the code base by making it all Angular now.
Right.
Huh. That's pretty cool. So what sort of app-to-app communication do you envision for the future? I saw your demo where you had app-to-app communication for 2 of SMU, but do you think that there might be features that you would want people to use in SMU that you would publish documentation saying if you do this call, SMU will display this thing for you?
Actually, if we want to implement that in our feature product, we are leveraging the application-to-application communication features provided by Zowe to launch different Zowe plugins, such as TN3270 and maybe WebTap and maybe JS Explorer, MS Explorer from SMU. So
Sure.
I think we can launch them according to the current context data. I think it's very, very meaningful for user.
Another thing I'm curious about is as you are improving the front end, the backend SMU server, have you had any thoughts around getting it registered with the mediation layer or making it work with SSO?
Yes, we plan to do that.
Cool. So yeah, this is, it looks like you are finding the right ways to do things in the desktop, which is good news. I like what I see here, but I guess I'll turn it over to others for more questions.
Yes. Actually, I think the most customers want like the customization, the page customization features. So if we want to, that's the reason why we created this kind of idea and create one, implement one prototype for that.
I maybe have a question here. So yeah, that looks, I'll echo what Sean said. It looks quite impressive, what you've done here. I just wondered, I mean, there's a lot you could have done. How did you, when you started at the beginning of the hackathon, how did you come to a decision around the scope and what you would focus on?
Actually, what we focused on is just to create one prototype and to verify whether our idea is acceptable by management team.
What would be your next step? Where do you see yourselves taking this next?
Our next step maybe we talk about it with the management team and ask them to migrate the existing SMU product to based on Zowe and adopt a single tech stack. For example, Angular.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I'll just maybe ask one more question. I guess I'll be the questioner bookend. So I asked the first question. I guess I'll ask the last one here. So could you just elaborate on your experience in leveraging Zowe and how you found how difficult it was sort of to integrate with the Zowe application framework and get integrated in the Zowe solution?
I think it's not, since we are a developer and adopt the main modern language, not like some guy on the West. So we don't think it's not so difficult for us to extend Zowe and or implement some ideas on Zowe platform.
All right, excellent. Thank you, and thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Great. Well, thank you all very much for attending. I see we're just past the minute of the hour, so I'll go ahead and wrap up. Like mentioned, all of these recordings will be up on YouTube here within the next couple days, and we'll send links out and follow-ups to all the attendees and registrants to let them know what that's live, and also look on our social channels for links as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the panelists. Thank you for all of the teams that participated. I think there was a lot of great interest, and we look forward to running this again here soon. Thank you all. Bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.